you can kind of start with just a narrative of what happened and what we saw with the deputy.
The deputy yesterday about 10:45 received a call of some type of theft at Alta Vista and Columbus. When the deputy arrived, the victim of the theft of a cell phone had a watch on as well, which was telling her where her cell phone was, and she directed the deputy a couple blocks away where it said her phone was, and the deputy contacted what he believed it was a suspect. As he got out of the car, the suspect charged him and put him in a chokehold, and they were in a pretty good fight. 3 citizens, they're all from the neighborhood. One owns a local business there, saw what was happening. The one that owns the business there used to be a reserve deputy, he totally understood what was going on. And they ran over and assisted the deputy and kept him from being seriously injured. Had it not been for citizens, who knows how it would have ended up, because these things, people don't really get it, but there's always a gun involved because you have one in your hip. And if you lose the fight, the bad person has access to it. So we're very thankful. We're very appreciative when something like that happens.
So it's not what the video looked like, as in like a group of people attacking a deputy?
Well, the initial report was exactly that. Deputies were responding thinking that three people or 4 people were attacking the deputy, when in fact, if you watch the video that somebody else took, they didn't know either. It was very confusing, but in fact they were assisting the deputy, not attacking the deputy.
What do you think the public perception is of a situation like that? You know, they hear about the video, and maybe they've seen the video themselves, but then they hear about the actual story of what happened before, or excuse me, now that it's been shared on social media, now knowing what this actual story is.
Well, it's a classic example of the camera doesn't see everything that the officer sees, the officer doesn't see everything the camera sees, and sometimes it tells you a story that's incorrect. In this particular case, when I first looked at it, it appeared to me that he was being attacked by several people, when in fact he was being assisted by several people. So, I think we all need to take a step back occasionally and before we make a determination of what occurred and before we come to that conclusion. Because once you conclude something has occurred, it's hard to change your mind, even with evidence. So I think this is a really good example. But more importantly than anything, we're so appreciative to have citizens in our county that still will step up and not allow us to get hurt, because we're human just like everyone else. And when you're in a fight with someone, you may win it, you may not win it. And the assistance of other deputies were there rather quickly, but we know that it can be a lengthy period of time. We had one in Boron not too long ago where the deputy was in a fight for 20 minutes. That's a long time to fight for your life. And so we're very appreciative of the actions of the 3 citizens.
So this deputy initially responded alone?
Yes.
Are we getting the name of the deputy at this time?
I can give you the name. I don't have it with me, but we'll be happy to provide you with the name. But I want to make sure it's okay to release his name, and we're not going to release the citizen's name because not everybody thinks that's a good thing. But I think in our county, majority do.
What do you hope the takeaway is from people who are going to watch the full story of this when it airs tonight?
You know, I think that you'll have both sides. We're so fractured in our community and our country that you're going to have some people that are going to be negative, and you're going to have some people that are going to be positive. We've learned to live with that scenario on almost everything that we do.
Speaking of cameras, Sheriff, is there body cam footage that's available and will be released eventually?
I haven't seen it, so I don't know for a fact, but we all wear body cameras.
Right.
They all wear body cameras, so I'm assuming that it was. The cell phone camera is a very good depiction of what occurred. Okay. But the body camera might give us a different look.
Is that so? That's not something that's available to us at this time?
It's not. He hasn't even written his report yet, and we have to give him an opportunity. He received minor injuries. He was at the hospital last night getting rechecked, but we're pretty sure he's going to be fine. But it's traumatic, not only physically but also emotionally.
So you said minor injuries. Is he still in the hospital?
No, he went last night and had rechecked, and he's recovering. And it goes with the territory sometimes.
And what about the suspect? Were they arrested or?
Several felonies. Yes.
Does he have a prior record at all? Or?
I have no idea. I don't even know who he is. Really, for the story, it wasn't important. For me, what was important was the fact that our citizens stepped up and prevented a tragedy from occurring.
When you were evaluating this case, when you evaluate the citizens and their response to this individual, do you also have to look at to see if they've committed any crime in a certain way too, in the way that they handled that person who was aggressive towards the deputy?
Yeah, I think what you're saying, did they assault him? We certainly look at that, but I don't think it occurred in this case. Sometimes, especially with a citizen who has no training, they will punch someone to help, and we tend not to do that. That doesn't mean they committed a crime. When a deputy's in a fight for his life, all bets are off. So there'll be no criminal charges against the people who helped us.
Are you able to break down the felonies that the suspect is?
There's several, and you called and I was doing other things. I just got a quick briefing, but I know there were several felonies involved, and I can get you a list of that before you leave.
Thank you. And one more thing about the deputy. Obviously, thank goodness he's okay. Is he on paid leave at the moment then, or is he still?
Well, he's certainly going to be paid. Whether he's on leave or not, I'm not sure whether it's his days off or because if he's on days off, obviously he probably will be fine by the time the work week starts. But I'm not sure. We want him to be 100% before he comes back.
Right.
I wanted to ask you a question about public perception on a different topic, if that's okay, and it would be just on public perception of the Zack Scrivner case. We're just interested in knowing a little bit more about your thoughts on how this investigation's been handled.
Yeah, I've said about all I can say about the Scrivner case. It's going to run its course now. There's a lot I would like to say, but it doesn't benefit anyone except maybe change the outcome of the case. And now that the AG has issued a complaint, I'll let them do what they have to do.
Well, if we're on different topics, I have one quick question for you, Sheriff, while we have you. The officer involved shooting at Virginia Avenue, what can you tell us about that at the moment?
I have not been briefed totally yet. I know that the officers are fine. The suspect is dead. I know that there was a firearm involved, and we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. I don't get a full briefing because I am the final authority when they make the recommendation, whether it's within the policy and with law. So I try not to get tainted beforehand because, again, it's hard to change your mind once you've made a firm decision.
I understand, but just to clarify, you say a firearm was involved, so the suspect was armed?
Yes.
And then with also all these county workers protesting, I know it doesn't affect your department directly, but you have staffing at some of those county buildings. What can you expect from your staffing at those buildings during this strike?
We have not seen a major impact. It's been all peaceful. They have the absolute right to do what they're doing, and that's fine with us. We'll do what we have to do, but we've had no instances of anything that's criminal or violent.
And just a quick political question too. I know Chad Bianco is running for governor as a sheriff who I know that you were quite happy to back Sheriff Mike Boudreau last time around. Any thoughts on his running for governor?
Yeah, he'd be a great governor. Realistically in this state, that's a long shot. I think we all realize that. But I also think that if there ever was a time, now would be the time. If you go back in our recent history, not too far back, we've had 3 that I can think of off the top of my head, Republican governors. We had Schwarzenegger, we had Pete Wilson, we had George Deukmejian. So who knows, tomorrow will be a different day. But Chad Bianco is a great guy and would be a great governor.
Hi, I'm Rochelle Murcia with Eyewitness News Bakersfield Now on YouTube. Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel where we have tons of great content to choose from. While you're here, go ahead and click on the subscribe button right there. That way you can stay up to date on all the things related within Kern County. Thanks for watching.